Jennifer Lawrence said that motherhood was isolating, and I don't disagree. It actually sums up a lot of what women have been feeling for years, and I think the more that it's spoken about in public, the better. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why you might be feeling lonely after having a baby and what you can do about it. I'm Remy, I'm an obstetrics and gynecology doctor with over 10 years of experience. I'm also a mother of two who found the postnatal period hard on both occasions, and loneliness had a part to play in that. I'm building Her Health Room to be a space for physical, emotional, and social recovery after having a baby, because the whole of you needs care. I would love you to join me on my journey by subscribing to this channel, commenting down below, letting me know what you would like, because I want to build this platform with you in mind. So the idea of feeling lonely after having a baby. I've heard silly comments like, but how can you be lonely? You've got a baby. Well, babies don't talk, at least for the first year. And loneliness in the postpartum period is really common. And it can be explained by sort of feeling unseen or not necessarily connecting with the people that are surrounding you. And it's easy to imagine if your life is revolving around nappies, sleep schedules, feeding, bleeding, any of this stuff, it's really easy to see how you as an entity has disappeared and how life has become about this baby that you love, that you genuinely love, but doesn't satisfy that need of social connection for you. And anytime I'm making videos, I'm very aware of my own experiences. So I remember being in a baby massage class and the facilitator went around the room and said, name one thing that you're happy about after becoming a mum. And I drew a blank. I couldn't think of an answer. And I was like, oh, I can't think of one, come back to me. And the look of horror on her face, I will never forget. And she went around and asked every other woman and didn't come back to me, which made me feel even worse. Honestly felt like the floor should open up. And there's just this element of when you're feeling anything that's unpleasant during that postnatal period, that you're no longer allowed to discuss it. Well, I'm here to say that please discuss it, but also please seek help. And similarly to what Jennifer Lawrence alluded to, no one prepared her for how lonely motherhood could be. Well, she is not alone. In the UK, a study found that over a third of women spend 8 hours alone a day, and 80 to 90% of women will experience a form or a version of loneliness in the postnatal period, typically within the first year. And it's not just about being alone, but it's about what that contributes to. In lots of populations, the elderly, the vulnerable, it's very well documented how loneliness can impact your health. And in new mums, that's also seen to be the case, because there's a really strong link between loneliness and postnatal depression. And the UK economy has proven that perinatal loneliness, the term that they've given for this, contributes or costs the economy £8.1 billion a year. Not to talk of the effect that loneliness can have on the well-being of the said child. So it's a really important thing to not only know about, but also know how to tackle it, right? And I'm hoping through Her Health Room that I can make a few nudges to you as an individual, but also holistically to make sure that we are tackling loneliness in women, not just in the UK, but worldwide. So why does it happen? If you think about, like I said, a third of women are spending 8 hours alone a day, or 8 hours with their baby, but no other adults around them. That's a long time. And I think that I would manufacture things to do, leave the house, go to baby groups, and in order to combat the loneliness, but then would come home and not feel like it actually made a difference. But in today's society where everybody's busy, after the baby's born, after the first few visits, after the 2 weeks, your partner goes back to work. So then you're having minimal support in the home, either from your partner or from family, and your social system that may have revolved around work just no longer exists. One of the studies that I read said specifically around feeding, women who were breastfeeding and struggling to breastfeed often struggled to leave the house because they didn't know how they would feed outside of the house. That happened to me. But also consequently, women who are bottle feeding sometimes feel really awkward about leaving the house because they don't want to be judged, because there's such a strong message about breast is best, whereas no, fed is best. But they can internalize that and again, struggle to leave the house or connect with women even once they've left and gone into these social groups. Another point is, when have you had your baby in relation to your friendship groups? I had my baby probably with 1 or 2 other friends, but we lived so far away from each other that seeing each other regularly was just not realistic. But women who have their babies really early might find that a lot of their social group are not having babies around that time and they feel isolated. Or women who have their babies later might find all of their friends had babies at an earlier age and again are not really at the same place or point in life. And that will contribute or lead to loneliness. But what helps? What can realistically help you overcome loneliness in motherhood? And it seems obvious, but it actually isn't as easy as it sounds, and it's community, right? But what is community made of? So when I was on mat leave, I would often go to classes, but didn't find that women were willing to stick around and chat and have lunch and all of these things. Or you could go to play and stay groups. But again, it really requires you to put yourself out there in order to make mum friends or to connect with other women. And my first mat leave, I remember using an app, the Peanut app, to make friends online. And again, I found that quite useful, but it's how do you get beyond that superficial meeting and genuinely make a connection? One of the papers that I read talks about the types of things that help communities bring women together and battle or combat the loneliness. And it's about having a group of similar people that you might meet in your day-to-day life. So one of the other things I thought of when I was on mat leave is I was making all these friends, but none of the friends hit the way that my uni friends hit and things like that. So then you're, oh, I'm meeting people, but they're not necessarily plugging that gap. And even that is a sense or a definition of loneliness, where you're surrounded by people, but it's not meeting your expected needs. So again, being around people who are similar to you, having a positive connection or a positive tie, which is often having a baby at the same time, being able to normalize and accept the difficulties. So that's the benefit of being in community with people who have a baby at the similar time with you, because you're finding breastfeeding hard, they might be finding breastfeeding hard, you've decided to bottle feed, someone else might have decided to bottle feed. And being able to have that conversation in community really takes away a lot of the shame and stigma that they like to force upon us as people who have babies. And then things about overcoming barriers to social interaction, undertaking meaningful activity whilst you're out. So it's really easy, I mentioned with baby massage, for everything to revolve around the baby. But meaningful activity is something that reminds you of you, right? What you need and what fills you. So that could be afternoon drinks with a baby in tow. It could be doing yoga, having the baby nearby, or going for tennis, or going out in the evening. Anything that allows you to connect with people at a similar place in life as you, but also allows you to identify as you, but also doesn't force you to be away from the baby if you choose not to be. So it's all of those things that really need to intricately be woven to help combat the loneliness. But aside from community, also just getting out of the house, going for a walk, smelling fresh air, looking at the trees, things like that can also help to combat that feeling of loneliness, because you're not isolating yourself. And giving yourself grace, my absolute top tip, giving yourself grace, because you have gone through a major life transition that we love to play down, but it is a major life transition where you've potentially gone from an individual who works or doesn't work to having a baby, being tied to a baby. Your partner, if you have one, has then gone back to work, and then you're all on your own trying to navigate what life looks like. And having an identity shift is big during the postnatal period. And all of that will contribute to loneliness. But thinking about loneliness and the consequences of loneliness is why it's really important, if you have the capacity to bring yourself out of it, form community, get involved in community, get out of the house. And I want to do just that. I want to build community, true, meaningful community for women, online, in person, I don't know. What do you want? And I want us to discuss in the comments down below how you feel that you overcame loneliness after having a baby, what you felt worked for you, what did not. Because also in the research is about having facilitated sessions, or sort of having someone there forcing you to make friends. That also doesn't feel natural. So there are obviously many ways to skin a cat, but what has worked best for you, and what would you actually like to see so that I can build it? I hope you found this video useful. If you are in the trenches or the throes of being postnatal, I hope that you found some use in this video. And I hope it's also prompted you to find a support group, find a class, find something to just bring out you whilst you are caring for your baby. Until next time, I will catch you in my next videos.